let's just get as many Trumps in federal office as possible. Let's just, how old is Barron? Can he run for Congress? Yeah, he's got to be 25. He's not old enough.
Barron Trump? He hasn't graduated high school yet. I mean, he's got a minute. I think
I'll make an exception to put more Trumps in government. Just get them all in there because it pisses off.
He runs for class president. Then he will run.
He's 17.
We're going to get accused of
he'll be 17.
Promoting oligarchy on the show, right?
But I don't care. You made Trump royal family because it pisses off the machine, and then we'll figure out. It's like the Simpsons when they had the lizard problem. And so they were like, they'll get dogs, and then how do you do it with the dogs? And then they're like, we'll get, they increase, keep getting the animals bigger and bigger until they're finally like, we'll have gorillas go and kill the animal. And then they're like, but then they have a gorilla problem. And I think it was Skinner's like, no, that's the best part. When winter comes, they simply freeze to death. So it's just like, we'll get all the Trumps in there. Let them just
Trump it out.
Trump it out, man. And then, we'll figure it out later.
I thought you made a good point that Ramaswamy is not the perfect candidate, because I think a lot of people might right now be looking for perfection. And if they don't see it, they're going to turn away and vote for what they think is safe. But you're never going to find perfection. You've got to you got to take risks. And
to counter that, though, if you look at some of the folks that are anti-Vivek, that are in like MAGA, in the MAGA mindset, right? They're attacking Vivek because they believe he's too perfect. They think he's Obama 2.0. I mean, there's a lot of different theories on that, but at the end of the day, like it's deeds, not words, right? And if you look at what Vivek has done for his personal life, for his family, for the state he lives in, his community, I mean, you don't have any Vivek Ramaswamy employees jumping out saying this guy's a terrible leader.
Vivek effectively said he wants to cut funding to Israel. Now, not as blunt, he says he wants to get them sustainable to the point through U.S. support to where we don't need to be supporting them anymore, which is the intelligent way of saying like, hey, we should not be. That's bold because, Nikki Haley is like, she loses her mind.
My objection to Ramaswamy, to be honest, is, again, I'm very lucky to be in a position to have got to ask him this, but he has a more flexible view on H-1B visas than I do. I feel like I would prefer someone to take a stronger stance on border security and reducing even legal immigration into the country as well as illegal immigration. But that is not to say that he couldn't do amazing things. I am not convinced this is the cycle. I don't think he would like being VP to Trump, but he has incredible potential, and I think it's better to have a deep bench of people who can do good things for the country. Even like we always talk about it like it's just the presidency and the VP, but it's really not. There are tons of cabinet positions. There are lots of things that we could have talented, intellectual, and accomplished people step into and really benefit the American public.
I get the Obama criticism. They feel like Vivek is Obama 2.0. I've thought that a couple times. I've even said it on the show. Vivek the snake, I called him a couple times. And it's like, I feel that like he's an orator. He's willing to bend with the wind like a reed, even to the point maybe where he'll snap like Obama did and then the big business takes over. But that's why I like seeing him in a VP position, because he'll watch it happen all around him and he won't have to be the one getting co-opted, and he'll see how Don came out unscathed the first time.
That's what he communicated to us. He didn't want to be someone watching. He wants to be at the head of the organization. And so again, like maybe if he doesn't progress with the presidential race, maybe he should run for governor of Ohio. Maybe he should step into a leadership role on a smaller scale. And then he's so young. He has so much potential to do a lot of things. If he doesn't run this cycle, I'm sure he'll run again.
Who do the Democrats have in terms of youth? AOC?
And like Max Frost, that's like the guy they're always talking about. He's like the youngest member of Congress.
Gavin Newsome.
Yeah, but Max Frost, you said?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
He's
out of Florida.
He's not the same level of AOC and
no,
Vivek.
Not yet.
I think
Vivek stepped onto the stage and hit it out of the ballpark and skyrocketed in terms of just like notoriety, notability. The things he was saying, the conversations he was having, the way he was having them, inspired a lot of people very, very quickly and resulted in this viral notability.
Yeah. The guy's loved in Ohio. Like I said, man, I met him before he even had political aspirations. He was just coming around talking about, he was a libertarian. He said it.
Some people arguing have made the claim that he wants to be a senator out of Ohio. I think he's denied that.
Yeah. There's been people advocating for it, because of the Senate race in Ohio right now is highly contested. So, I think Vivek standing out the way he has during his presidential run has drawn a lot more attention to him.
When Gavin Newsome went over to China, I got the vibe like, oh, they're running Gavin Newsome. That's what's going to happen. So now I still think
Obama or Gavin Newsome.
That should I can't identify with Democrats at all, because if I were like, this guy wants to be the president, so he went to China and that's how I know he wants to be the president. Like, no, tour the U.S., leave California and come see, industrial towns in the Midwest that were devastated by manufacturing leaving. Go to West Virginia and talk to people who are affected by the opioid crisis. Like, if you want to be president of the United States, shouldn't you talk to Americans? Why would you be like, I will go overseas? This is a great idea. Like, I can't relate to it.
Go spank little boys while I'm playing basketball.
I've never seen a governor go speak with the president of China before. Have you? I've never seen that before.
It's weird, huh?
Yeah. That was highly unique.
Unorthodox.
Yeah. Novel.
Well, the great nation of California needs representation in China.
I don't see Biden being the nominee. I don't see him being the candidate for the Democrats.
Yeah.
Because look at the polls right now. Cenk Uygur said he's only running basically to bring awareness to the fact that Biden's going to lose. And that he's like, what? I have to run because people don't understand Biden will lose. He bought the domain bidenisgoingtolose.com.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And he said Republicans should want Biden in the race. And I'm like, I agree.
Quick us.
Well, and then Dean Phillips out of Minnesota launched his campaign to challenge Biden after pretending he wasn't going to for a minute. I mean,
he's to the tweet we pulled up.
It's kind of interesting that we have an open Democrat who's like, I think I could maybe run a race. I had thought when RFK decided to run as an independent, perhaps there was pressure from the DNC being like, you have to get out of here. We can't have anyone else. But obviously that message hasn't trickled down to the rest of the rank and file. If we have someone out of Minnesota saying, well, I might throw my hat in the ring after we've already have an independent candidate challenging essentially Biden. I know they pretend like it's both Trump and Biden. It's really not. I mean, no one wants Biden to run. This is what's happening.
I wasn't here when Cenk was on the show because I was in Miami, but I was thinking about progressivism. That's a term that gets thrown. I'm progressive. Think about progressivism, and I'd love to talk to Cenk, to talk to you about this directly too, Cenk. Progress means to move forward. So you can progress towards a cliff and then walk off the cliff. Where are you progressing? That's a big part of being progressive. What are you progressing to? And also, how are you progressing? Are you progressing as a wild mob, disorganized, or are you progressing in an organized fashion?
They're marching towards the cliff.
And we need to that needs to be discussed, debated, and observed because that's a big part of it. You can't just say you're progressive and expect
So you don't want to be regressive, but unless...
Well, it depends. If you're about to walk off a cliff, you do want to be regressive.
Or maybe you want to turn left. What's
transgressive?
Transgressive. Yes, we're the transgressive. Is that the right word?
That's one of them.
Transgressive. Yeah. We don't want to go forward. The forward is the cliff. We don't want to go backwards. That's too far. But we want to go kind of back and to the left. We should go back a little bit because the left has gone nuts. But we mostly just want to turn left.
Maybe degressive.
Or turn right.
I want to go back and to the right. I was going to say, I will only join this movement, the transgressive movement, if we're going back and to the right.
Transgressive.
I'm into the transgressive movement then. But back and to the left sounds equally as bad because ultimately it'll be like, why were we going back? We should go forward again. And it'll just horseshoe back to where it was going.
We do have the 20s in the chat for what Ian had said, because it is correct. The left seems to be progressive for the sake of progress, but progress for the sake of progress is blind. They're just saying, just keep doing it. Why not? Why not? And you're like, eventually, you're like, hey, there's a naked man dancing in front of children. And they're like, progress. And you're like, okay, but this is not what we thought we were progressing to.
Transgress.
We want Star Trek and replicators and cold
and that
fusion.
graphene stuff.
And graphene, not naked men dancing for children. Okay? That's not progress. That's something weird. Actually, I think that's transgressive.
Amen, brother. Amen, sister. That's what I meant.
No, I think I think progress in the relative sense, like what would Americans view as progress? It would be space travel, colonizing other planets. When you ask someone, what do you think the future looks like? These are the things they envision. They envision, people aren't hungry anymore. People aren't starving. Food replicators, spaceships. That's what they think of when they think of us advancing and progressing. What's happened is the left has hijacked progress, and now they've got naked dudes dancing in front of children. And I'm like, okay, that's like veering off the course.
Yeah.
So we're driving. Here's a better way to put it. We're driving on this road, and you've got a rocky cliffside to your right and a sheer cliffside straight drop to your left, and they've turned the car to the left, and we're like, guys, if we keep this angle up, we're going off the edge. We got to correct it and go back to the dreams of what we used to focus on.
For a moment, let us congress, meaning move together, and turn around and then we'll go to space.
That's
but
funny.
now, so we define where we're going very clearly. Paint the picture, Chank, and everyone that wants to be progressive or consider themselves, paint the picture of where you want to end up.
I like this word gress.
Yes.
For currently, we should egress.
Yes, we should. We're about to egress to super chats. But also, after you explain where we're going and you outline it in such a vivid way that people can picture it, then explain how we're going to get there piece by piece. And you'll have a lot of people following you.
Yeah, see, the left is mostly just, we should just do what we do for whatever reason.
Which is the military war machine from 1913, Federal Reserve, banking.
Yeah, it's the never enough party, right? They say, we've accomplished this progressive goal, but now we have to push it, and there's no reason why. It's just continuing to push boundaries forward and forward, and I think that allows people with really nefarious agendas to step in and say, I'm benefiting from this kind of this dissolve into chaos because we're constantly pushing.
It's anarchy, disguised as progressivism in so many different ways. I mean, true progressivism, like you're explaining, I mean, is realistic. It has reasonable goals, and you know where you're going with them. I mean, it's just total destruction.
That's what transgressive means. Actually, it means just violate the social norms or regular norms that we're doing. So in reality, they are transgressive because that's the definition of the word. They're not progressing towards anything that's meaningful, and the goalposts are always moving too.
Yeah. So
goalposts every day.
Transgressives are like swerving the wheel left and right as you're going.
I mean,
stop it. Serge has got the details.
Yeah, it's like it has to do with like breaking social boundaries or moral boundaries. Yeah, so transgressive would be to end revolting against moral and social boundaries, which is literally what the progressive movement today is saying that they're doing. So
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.